welcome back to episode 101 of Tall Boy Radio. Seeing as it is 101, we think we ought to go with a little bit of a theme, and that theme is very Orwellian, given the very nature of the times that we're in at this moment. So who wants to go first and say hello on this first, well, it's not first, that's his second episode, which has 3 digits at the start.
I'll go first. Looking forward to this, guys. Really enjoyed recording our 100th episode where we discussed all of our sort of favourite sort of episodes of stories and this, that and the other. Really looking forward to this one where we might get to dispel one or two things. And for this evening's drink, I have a Duvel, which is 8.5% of pure goodness. So I'm looking forward to this, guys.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Andy?
Howdy. I'm carrying on my Christmas themed of this Bush Noel I'm on.
Well.
It's a lovely little drop, 12%.
Yeah, that's more like it.
There's the Andy we know and love.
they do a 15% one, but they were sold out. Oh,
wow.
I bought this. That's gutted. But this one is just as good. But Bush are a really good brewery.
I've not tried that one. I've not tried that one. Everybody loves a bit of Bush, don't they? and the beer that I am drinking is a DDH IPA, and it's from Northern Monk. And I thought if we're going to do something where we're dispelling the Orwellian nature of this world by using Room 101, then maybe a beer called Faith in Futures ought to counterbalance the negativity. So yeah, George Orwell's 1984. One of Andy's favourite books, something that he enjoys, and something that's on everybody's lips at this moment in time. But that's where it ends, because one of the things we said, we want to keep this upbeat, we want to keep this fun. The stuff that we want to get rid of isn't going to be the obvious stuff. Yes, obviously the Rona, people are sick to death of it. It's a given. Nobody wants it to stay around. There's nothing good to come from it. So there is no point talking about stuff like that. So the stuff that we're going to talk about is open for debate. Now, again, we're going to keep this one to half an hour, like we kept the last episode to half an hour-ish. But this is one of those ones that we could really get down into the old deep and dirty and the nitty-gritty of it. So, just in case, I will be whipping out my festive bell and giving it a little tinkle should anybody go over their mark. So we'll give 5 minutes, shall we say, 5 minutes to everybody going over the top about their spiel. So who wants to go first with that in mind? Who wants to get their first one out of the way?
Is this the bell your mum threatened to put on the mantelpiece in the last episode?
I was just going to say, nobody wants to see Adam's festive bell.
That was much less lavishly decorated.
Or red.
I don't know, it was my teenage years, dude. Got a lot of use. Moving on.
How can it go on? I'm going to go first because there's something that's been sort of eating away at me a little bit. Everybody out there knows I'm a massive sports fan, and I don't know whether I've spoken about this before, but in 2022, if I actually had a bin that I could throw it into, bloody VAR, get rid of it, bin it, destroy it. The people sitting in their bloody wheelie bin offices or whatever it is, and they're bloody pressing buttons and drawing lines on football pitches. Piss off. Get it in the bin. Seriously. Get football back to what football should be like. And you know what? You've got assistant referee. In fact, that's another thing. They're not assistant referees. They're bloody linesmen. Get them in the bin as well, assistant referees. Get it back to what it used to be. They're linesmen. You've got a linesman there. Allow him to do his job. And you know what? Over a season, things will go for you. Things will go against you. And it's the talking point. And I want to talk about football in the pub. I don't want to talk about bloody some guy like bloody Rolf Harris drawing lines on a bloody piece of paper or lines on a football. I'm not interested. Bin it. Get rid of it. And that's not just because I'm sort of annoyed because of the Everton game. We had 2 disallowed goals against Arsenal. We won the match in the end. Having said that, the second one was just diabolical. It was like a toenail and shouldn't be there. Bin it. Get rid of it. There you go. I think that's about a minute ad. I could carry on this rant for so long. But
well, listen, we've got 5 minutes to discuss something. Hopefully, everybody's got 2, so we stick to around about the half-hour mark.
VAR bin it.
VAR bin it. Andy, surely, this is one of those things that's set to improve football. It seems to work very well 90% of the time in American football for the judgment calls. Is it really that the best part about the game is debating the things that VAR should solve but doesn't?
I remember when VAR was discussed, and for me it's supposed to bring balance in the force of knocking the divers out, of the game and stuff like that, and making it more of a fast-flowing game. But it's done the opposite. It's always controversial, isn't it? And I don't know. I think it's getting better, but I think the referee's a bit too protective, where it's like it's their say and that's the end. I don't know. I think it should be they should say to the referee, this has happened, what do you think? And then he can review it. But on the flip side, I think he shouldn't be afraid to do a big call and stuff as well.
I think that's the thing. The referees are stopping making decisions because they think, actually, it'll be checked by VAR, and it's almost like that. And I know people talk about, but we get to the right decision in the end. No, and I know sport changes out through the years, and it's just not the game that I want to watch. It's completely different than American football. American football is stop-start, just the very nature of the game. So you can have the natural breaks, you can have timeouts, you can have video booth replays, and you can have all of that because it doesn't detract from the game of American football, because American football is stop-start by the very nature. Football isn't, and it shouldn't take 2.5, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then they say to the ref in his ear, you go to the sideline and you make a decision. Just make the decision in the first place. You don't need people to be telling you to do that. And VAR was brought in to overrule clear and obvious errors. If when you're painting your bloody lines on a football pitch, there literally is a toenail in between some guy's knee and some guy's armpit, it's not a clear and obvious error. So why VAR getting involved in it in the first place? Do you know what I mean? Just bin it. Get rid of it.
Maybe it should just be for stuff the ref doesn't see. Like the elbows and the stomps and stuff.
Maybe.
Leave the linesman to do the linesman
Absolutely.
stuff.
You know what, Andy? That's a great shout. Actually, you know what? Leave VAR for like the off-the-ball stuff, the dirty tactics that you don't see. Actually, you know what? Off the ball behind your back, he's just poleaxed a guy or elbowed a guy. Actually, you need to go and have a look at that because it should be red or it should be yellow or whatever. Leave the linesman, leave the referees to make the decisions on the field.
So what happens if they get a offside decision like horribly, horribly wrong, and you're using VAR to keep tabs on whatever old drunken Duncan's doing, like to the torrid defence beating up? So if they get something horribly wrong like that, would you think, well, hang on a minute, should it then be extended to that as well? Because for me, like the thing about VAR is, it's the way it's applied. I think it could be applied a lot better. Like you say, in terms of offside goals, if you're just a fraction offside, come on, don't be ridiculous. He can be a little bit forward. And this should be an exciting game. It's about scoring goals, not preventing them, isn't it?
It is about scoring goals.
Surely there should be much more leeway with the offside law.
I do think that the problem that you've got is as soon as you turn around and say, we're going to make it a clear and obvious error. Well, what's clear and obvious is that 3 inches offside, 4 inches offside, 5 inches, 6 inches, a foot, a yard? Where does clear and obvious come into it? That's the issue. So you can never have a line decision. And some people will turn around, and I've argued this with guys in the golf club, but he's offside, because actually offside is fact. It's either you're offside or you're onside. There's no grey area. Because actually, if there's a part of you that is in advance of that play, you are offside according to the laws of the game. Whether or not we discussed that, should the laws of the game, in my personal opinion, it should not be any part of your body. It should be your feet. Oh.
So then let's come to a decision then. Gaz wants to put VAR into room 101. What do you say, Andy?
I don't know. I think it needs to be refined a bit more, but go on, throw it in the bin.
Yeah, get it in the bin. Get it in the bin.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. I think he needs to go in the bin. I was chatting to my brother-in-law about this, and obviously, he works for Man United, and he used to play for Luton. And I was saying how much I hate it. And his biggest gripe was, as you say, is the offside law. He says, if you want to make it work, then you need to refine that. And actually, so if there is no benefit to being a fraction or having your little finger placed beyond where the defender is. There's no benefit to that. So let's scrap that. Let's get that reworked and have how that's looked at. It's far more important than VAR itself, because if they get that right, the rest of the little quibbles will probably be ironed out. 100%. So, yeah, Andy, yourself, what have you got? Something you want to throw in the bin for 2022?
Well, for most people, the 5-day working week. If you think of when it was, I don't know when it was started, but obviously if you think, like early 19th century, when a household could be supported off one income, the partner, whether it's the husband or wife or whatever, they can stay at home and raise the kids if that's what they want to do, and the house is paid for. They can live comfortable within one wage. Now it's both people need to work. It's hell expensive to raise kids, and
you're not wrong, dude.
And you're that knackered by the weekend. You Saturday, you sort of, you're trying to recuperate from the week, and then you might drink on a Saturday night, for example. Then you got Sundays recuperating from that, and it's just the weekend just flies by. 2 days is not enough rest time, mentally and physically, for me.
So what would you have then? Would you have
3 days?
Work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or what would you have?
Well, this is the thing, because most businesses are set up to, if it's an online business or whatever, then you can just like stagger it. Some people get Mondays off, some people get Fridays off, some people might want a Wednesday off. That's fine, but me personally, I just want to do, say, either Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday to Friday. I don't care. But just reduce one extra day. I think we're living in a world now where information is thrown at you from social media, your work stuff. Life's busier now, isn't it? There's a lot of distractions in the world.
Well, is it Norway? Is it Norway that do a 4-day working
4
week?
days, yeah.
And they've turned around and said that's had absolutely zero negative effect on productivity, their economy. Yet, in terms of mental health and well-being, it's had an enormous positive effect. So, that will be interesting to see if that could work. I mean, the problem that we've got is it's a whole society thing, isn't it? And in the UK, we very much we live to work, and actually what we should be doing is we should be working to live. We've got it completely the other way around.
Let's get that right. If you're out there and you listen to this and you are living to work, gee whiz, sort it out. That's not right.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. But as a society, we do. Effectively, that's what Andy's just said. We
I don't live to work. I work 5 days a week, but I tell you, I do not live to work. You probably have to ask my boss; he'll tell you that. But I work to live. The money I see it. I don't see it that I work for that company. I see it. I rent my time to them for 5 days, and that's the way I think you should view it. You should value your time, and your time with your family is precious. Your time with your friends is precious. We get so little time on this planet, whether you want to believe in reincarnation or not. We don't.
And I agree with you.
Value that time.
I absolutely agree with you, and that's a philosophy that we should all hold, and possibly we do here, us three. But I absolutely can tell you for a fact there's a vast majority of people out there that feel as though they're on the rat race, and it's Monday to Friday, and they slog their arse off, and they come home, and they perhaps have a bite to eat, and then they're that knackered, they go to bed, and then they wake up the following day, and then they go to work. And they come home because they're that knackered, and they eat the food, and they go to bed, and so on and so on. And before you know it, it's the weekend, and you spend all day Saturday recovering for the weekend. You think, shit, Sunday's come. Right, I want to go out. I want to do something. So you do something maybe 1 day a week, and then it's Monday again, and you think, shit, where did that go? Do you know what I mean? And there are a number of people. I can tell you, dude.
I agree.
Know them. You know them.
I do, and I'm telling you, they're doing it wrong.
It's wrong.
Yeah,
and I remember years and years and years and years ago, when I was 17, I went to Australia. Fortunate enough to go on a cricket tour, and spent quite a lot of time in Australia, and sort of bought into their philosophy, I suppose. And very much over there, it's we work to live. We work in order to do the things that we want to do, with whether that be family, friends, or whatever. And there's guys there that said, I could choose to work 9 till 5, but I don't. I choose to work 7:30 till 1, or 7:30 till 1:30, and then by 2 o'clock I'm on the beach, I'm surfing. And I know climate is different and this, that, and the other, but we could easily do the things that we wanted to do. But we just don't seem to have that here. We don't seem to have that philosophy, that society outlook. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm quite fortunate in many ways that I get to choose my hours a little bit. Although I have to do 5 days a week, I don't really want to, but I do 5 days a week. And one of those is on a weekend because I work in retail, so it is kind of expected of me. So I have a Tuesday and a Saturday off generally. But I totally agree with Andy. I totally agree with Andy. I'm fortunate I get to start at 6 and finish at 2 most days. And Wednesday, I finish at 12, If you want to know why TBR is uploading very early on a Wednesday, guess what? I'm home from 12:15. It's a winner. But I've got kids to take care of, and that's what it's about. And I'm very, very fortunate. As much as I joke about what my boss might say about me, he said he's approved those hours and said, Adam, it's fine. What you do in that time is barely worthwhile anyway. Just go home. I'm only joking.
Not only are you wasting your own time, you're wasting our time.
You're wasting hours and we don't want to pay you anymore. So where do we sit with this one then? Where do we sit this one? I've got a feeling I know. Go on. Andy wants to put a 5-day working week in the bin. He's 4 at the most, he's thinking.
You know what? As much as I don't necessarily think it would work, you know what? Just throw it in the bin. Get it in that bin. Get it in the bin. Follow the Norwegians. Get it in the bin.
Our whole system in the UK does not work. Our politicians, our politics do not work. We're not going to get into that. We promise we're going to get into it, and we're not. And it doesn't work. And the 5-day working week is all part of a backdated system that just does not work and needs reviewing. So you guys have both got yours chucked into room 101. Makes me a little nervous for mine. Spiders. I don't like them. I despise spiders. They terrify me. I am very, very afraid of them. And the last time I mentioned this on the podcast, someone emailed me and said that they would help me out and they would help to get me over that fear of spiders. And I said, no, thank you very much. I'm quite happy being afraid of spiders. The idea of not being afraid of spiders makes me afraid because the idea of being able to hold one fills me with fear. But I thought I'd best look into this because I thought, no, Gaz has said this a few times. They are a big part of our ecosystem. So I looked in it and I thought, bullshit. Turns out they are. So yeah, they eat.
I only speak the truth on this podcast, dude. Well, actually, edit that without because probably.
Yeah, we'll edit that without. Don't worry, folks. They eat bugs that feast on our crops, such as aphids and caterpillars, says Norman Platnick of the American Museum of Natural History. And he claims that if there were no spiders, there would be a famine without them. So there would be no food because the caterpillars and the flies would eat it all. So I thought, well, I best look into it. So natural pyrethrum is a pesticide which also kills aphids and caterpillars. I just think that would be more prevalent. And also, do you know what? Kills some beetles. I'm not a big fan of beetles either, to be honest. They're just like spiders wearing something on the back. I'm not a big fan of them either. And then think about this. Robins, wrens, warblers, they all eat caterpillars. Which would you rather see in your garden? A nasty old horrible spider or a wren or a robin? People hold robins very, very dear this time of year in this country. And sparrows, which are very, very scarce, very prevalent when we were children, they are very, very sparse now. They eat aphids. So if there's more aphids about, they're going to flourish. They've got that greater food source. But interestingly enough, counteract it again, spiders. Do you know how much a spider eats in a year? Have a guess. What weight of fly one spider will eat in a year?
Does it depend how big the spider is?
I would imagine so, but I'm just going off on average.
I don't know. Flies.
They don't weigh very much.
Kilo.
A kilo seems a lot to me, Andy.
A kilo sounds a lot, but then you think over a whole year. I'll just say, I'll just go for 750 grams.
So 25 metric tons. Does that seem a lot? I think someone's bullshitting me. But yeah,
what?
One spider eats 25 metric tons of food per year. Because although many of the flies they eat are exceptionally tiny, they eat a lot in a day. It's like, what the hell?
Miniature, a hell of a lot.
Where are these flies coming from that these spiders are eating them? If I have one spider in my house and it's getting a good old tonky with my slipper, if I do, where are the 25 metric tons of flies per year that I'm seeing him catching? I'm not seeing him do that. It's nonsense.
That's why, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine if we live in a world without spiders, how many flies you're going to bloody see?
Well, I don't think we do, because this is the beauty of science, that if we were overrun by flies and caterpillars, the sprays, Venus flytraps everywhere.
Yeah, but we're not, because there are spiders. So we're not overrun because we have spiders.
But yeah, exactly. If you got rid of them, though, the problem would still be solved. No, we wouldn't. The problem would be solved by science. Come on, dude. Which would you rather have in your house? Which would you rather have, a Venus flytrap or a spider?
Well, spiders don't bother me, so I'm not really that arsed either way, to be honest.
I'll be honest. I dropped some beer off at his house, and there was a massive great big spider that caused me to recoil like a small girl.
That's Flanders.
And he just picked it up. It was like, I was relating the story to Kim. I was like, seriously, Gary picked up a spider in his hands. It's like, yeah, he seems entirely untroubled.
As any normal human being would be.
So, go on.
I was just going to say, as Gaz has mentioned, Australia, he's been there, and that's like the world capital of spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair,
maybe you just need to visit there.
I'm not so sure I'd walk up and handle like a redback or a funnel web or something like that. Maybe.
You do it once.
No, don't get me wrong. It wouldn't be the look of them, the size of them. Okay, if you've got like a whatever those like giant tarantulas are, the one like the huge ones. I'm not sure I'd fancy one of them crawling over me, but they don't massively bother me. And okay, Australia, I think it's more just it's the venomous nature of them and the fact that actually they could probably kill you that might put me off handling them. It's not the size of them. It's not the actually physically handling them that bothers me, really. So I don't know. But yeah, I think the gargantuan tarantulas that you see in like, I don't know, like the rainforest and stuff, yeah, I wouldn't be a massive fan of them. But you always hear, here he is, Adam shaking his bell.
That's an image. So, where do we sit then? When spiders going into room 101?
You see, for me, no, because they do offer us something.
I was going to say every animal in the world has some function, apart from humans. But I'm going to say no on this one.
So you're saying if I'd have picked humans, you'd have gone with yes?
Yes. Yeah.
Andy probably would. Pick that solitude, like life for solitude. Should we get all of the humans in the bin? Yeah. Yes.
So
that's Andy's next one. You've just stole his.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I do apologise. So go on. We'll keep it even tight. We'll go to 3 minutes for our last one. If you've got, do you have another one to go with?
I've got another one. Yeah.
Go for it, Gary.
Yeah.
Reality TV shows.
Oh, go on.
Just get them in the bin. I'm sick of people being famous for being on reality TV shows. So they're not actually famous for anything other than being famous for being on reality TV shows. Seriously? They're not sporty. They're not musical. They're not dramatic. They're not artistic. Just bin the lot of them. I mean, I'm not gonna name various reality TV stars. You know, you see him on TV. It's like, okay, so David Schindler. Okay, he's on Jungle at the moment. Well, Castle, whatever. David Schindler, footballer. Yeah, he's had a career. He's a footballer. I get that. You get somebody else, and I won't mention any names. You get somebody else, reality TV star. Oh my days, seriously. So the only reason that you're famous is you go from that reality TV show to that reality TV show to that reality TV show. Bin it off. Bin the lot of them off. Get those bloody fake people off my TV and let me start watching and looking real people. Sorry, bin them off.
Well, there we go. I'm not even going to question that one any further because I've got a feeling I know which way Andy's going to sit with this one.
Well, you know, like if you look back at TV, like presenters, for example, they bring something to the table, don't they? They've got like a confidence. They know the subject matter and stuff like that. Then you get these whoppers on that are just like,
there you go, whoppers. Love that phrase.
Just jibber jabbing crap, and it's like, oh, you know what? I'm from Essex, mate. Oh, it's like, oh, fuck off. In the bin.
Yes.
Well, I will just chuck this one in there quickly then. So say, for example, the castle or the jungle, wherever it's going to be set, 2027, and we see there, Gaz, podcaster. Would we be saying, bin him off, or would we be saying,
I think it'd be a couple of $100,000, then maybe not, but no, but I would like to think that okay, technology changes, and would I be famous for being a podcaster if you get to that point? At least I say some talent. I'm not sure that comes into podcasting, but you have to be famous for being able to do something.
Podcast.
Yeah, but he's ringing his bell.
The bell has been rung. So go on, Andy. Are we going to put this one in room 101, or are we going to say no?
Yeah, bin it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
totally agree with you, dude. Totally agree with you. I despise these people as much as you do. Andy, he's probably just stolen your second one, I suppose.
Well, it's a similar vein. It's woke, the woke group.
Okay,
I think
crack on.
People are finding an issue to find an issue. So if someone like dresses one way, some culture, well, not even some culture, no one cares. It's just like, you sort of showing like, that style or whatever, and then you'll get like one or two people who are more vocal than the majority saying, oh, you can't do that, it's racist or whatever. It's like, oh, cultural appropriation. It's like, not really. It's just, they're celebrating what they wear or whatever. And I think it's just a crazy world at the minute where the small group of people who are very vocal are ruining TV shows and adverts and all sorts just for the sake of ruining TV shows and adverts. I don't see what they're getting out of it.
So do you go along with Ricky Gervais's line of thought then, when he sort of says, I can say what I like, and if I think it's funny and I think it's a joke, then I can say it. And if you are offended by that, you have every right to be offended by that, but don't expect me to give a shit. That's not important to me. That's the whole point of a joke. If it makes you think, if it stretches the imagination, or it presents a different view of an opinion to yours, there's no harm in it, because it makes it, you see the world a different way.
That's the key thing. It's a view, and it's a line of comedy. He's not singling someone out for what they dress like, what they believe in, or anything like that. It's just, a general joke that some people might not like it. Don't listen to it. Some people do like it. Listen to it. But these weird group would slam him and stuff. But luckily enough, it's not affecting him. But yeah,
he seems untroubled.
Yeah.
So where do we sit on this one then, guys? Are we going to agree with Andy and put woke people into the bin, into room 101?
I've got 30 seconds on this.
Go on.
Because we talked about racism, sexism, ageism and all of that, and saying, actually, if you make a comment and somebody perceives that to be racist, then it is by the definition of it. So if somebody says something and you take offence at it, yes, you're allowed to take offence at it. Does that make you woke or snowflake or whatever? Yeah, probably. Yeah, get it in the bin. Yeah, yeah, get it in the bin. I agree with you, Andy. Yeah,
I think so.
But with a caveat. With a caveat.
There's a caveat in there. Some things you just, I think whenever everybody universally agrees, that's wrong, dude. You can't be doing that, and it's not done humorously. And it ain't on. But a lot of this woke nonsense is bullshit, and we all think we all know that, don't we?
Yeah. It's
just people being upset for the sake of being upset. So my final one, and again, I'm skeptical whether you guys are going to take it. Dave needs to go on the bin. Not Cartledge, not Borthwick. Dave, the TV channel, really, really, really annoys me. It is a forum for far too many mediocre comedians, and they're given shows that are done on an incredibly cheap budget. And it's literally, if you can come up with an idea that is going to be done cheaply, they're going to greenlight it and they're going to put it forward, rather than back in the good old days, Comedy Central, BBC, Channel 4, BBC 3 used to be great for those shows, but it was done with that in mind, rather than it just being something where you give somebody a camera and stick it on YouTube, because that's what a lot of the stuff is. And these horrible, horrible game shows which are scripted and written and giving them the best opportunity to use the odd line here or there. It's done too cheaply for my liking. And it really, really annoys me. I will say there is one exception on Dave, because I absolutely love Dave Gorman's Modern Life. It's good. It's because he doesn't need a budget to do what he says that he's going to do, his style of comedy. But it just really, really bugs me. I would like to see it taken away and replaced with something like Comedy Central, where they'll throw a decent budget if you can pitch something decent at them. You know, maybe more channels like that. And then something like public access channels like they have in the US. So locally in the Northwest, we'd get something where people are putting together something like Wayne's World. And if you can pick the gems out of that, then those are the guys that go forward. So I'm not even just telling you why it's a bad idea. I'm giving you a better idea as a proposal.
Okay, I'll throw it back at you. I'm not going to say which way I'm going to go, whether it's in the bin or not. But currently on Dave, and I apologise to all our American listeners and anybody else that listens in over the 41 or 42 countries. But there's a program called QI. Stephen Fry is hosting it with Sandy Toxic, Bill Bailey and Alan Davies.
That's not on Dave. The repeats are on Dave.
That's Dave.
The main channel is on is BBC Two, and it gets repeated on Dave.
Maybe.
There's no maybe about it. I have no problem with the repeats that get shown of the quality programming. I have no problem with that.
It's just what we did. So you would repeat them on BBC Two because that's where they were originally shown, or whatever.
It's the content that they just churn out, the cheap nonsense.
You see, I'm not sure whether or not there's any originals on Dave. I don't know.
There are.
Are they just rubbish?
Yeah. They're just so low budget. It really irritates me that it's very mediocre comedians are given a forum that they don't necessarily deserve, and it just annoys the. I'm going to bring the bell up myself.
You see the original content. So you've got Have I Got News for You, Mock the Week, QI. They're all programs that were Channel 4, BBC Two.
Have I Got News is currently on. Well, it probably isn't now as we hit
probably
this time.
No. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, bin it. Because if they're all reruns and the new shows are terrible and low budget, bin it.
I don't know. I feel Andy might disagree with me in this one.
I'm quite torn on this one because Taskmaster started off on Dave, and I really like Taskmaster.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of low par comedians. Yeah, bin it. It's gone.
Oh yeah. You got one. I think I'm 2 out of 2. So.
Yeah, you guys are both 2 out of 2. I'll take that. I knew Spiders was going to be controversial. It shouldn't be, given the amount of arachnophobes out there. So if you're listening, get behind me. Let's. I'm gonna run. I'll run for government. Let's ban spiders. Let's make spiders illegal. And on that note, this is 101, episode 101. If you're listening to this dropping round about New Year's Day shortly after, thank you for listening. God bless you. You're probably still hungover trying to figure out what the hell is going on in your ears right now. So these guys are going to say goodbye to you, and we'll catch you for a proper episode on 102.
Yeah, love this, guys. Obviously, slightly light-hearted look at sort of what we'd like to be and what we'd like to keep. Really look forward to where the podcast is going to go in the new year. Keep listening, keep spreading the word, and let's hope we can get into loads more countries and let's grow TBR. Cheers.
Cool. Andy?
Yeah, another short and sweet one. I think we could probably make a full episode of this. I've got a big list of my hit list.
We'll do this one again.
But yeah, hopefully you are listening, and hopefully you're not too hungry because you're going to miss out on beer.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, again, thank you very much for listening. We just wanted to do a couple of brief episodes over this sort of festive period. We know you haven't got a lot of time to share with this kind of stuff that we do. So if you've taken the time to listen, we really, really appreciate it. And so we'll say thank you for listening, and no doubt you'll be back for episode 102. Shit that Andy hates.
It's a big list.